Hi, this is Adam from Game Watcher, and this is our review of Lords of the Fallen. Obviously, aping the same style, setting and systems the Souls series has made such a huge success of, you could be forgiven for dismissing Lords of the Fallen as a cynical cash-in from Software's success. For the first few hours, that cynicism is well placed. However, spend time with Square Enix's lookalike and it soon becomes clear that Lords of the Fallen has its own take on the medieval action RPG experience, although whether or not that's enough to make it worth playing is another issue. First impressions, though, are a little shaky, with zero character customization as you inhabit the grumpy, bald form of Harkin. This allows Lords to tell a very direct narrative with its cutscenes and NPC conversations that bump along, to be honest, a rather generic story. It lacks Dark Souls' subtlety and the joy of finding out about its world through exploration and discovery. Sure, there are secret areas here and a smattering of audio diaries, bizarrely in a medieval setting, to add detail to the bland setting, but there's none of that mystical menace the Souls games have done so well to convey over the years. The combat also starts pretty shakily, but your enjoyment is going to be determined by what games you've come from before playing this. Souls veterans may find the adjustment to Lords' system, to be honest, a little distasteful. The feel of blocking and landing blows is spongy and not really as responsive as From Software's engine. It takes a little bit of getting used to, and after 3 hours I finally got over its foibles and annoyances and managed to make easier progress. The difference here is that your moveset is generally a lot slower than you'd like or expect, while the enemies are much quicker. It was a hump I very nearly didn't get over, so bear it in mind when you come to play. Once you do get the hang of it, though, Lords is a much easier game to play than Souls' brutal fashion. Yes, you can argue that Souls is easy once you get the hang of it, but for most players, even a lowly enemy can render you dead if you let your guard down. The same really can't be said here, and after levelling up a few times, enemies that caused you trouble in earlier levels will be as troublesome as flies. That's not necessarily a knock, as it's always good to feel overpowered now and again before a towering boss strikes you down. And the game does pick up its difficulty as you progress, and it becomes clear that you need to spend time levelling up and farming loot in order to progress. So far, it's easy to dismiss Lords as a diet Dark Souls clone, but it comes with a few extra wrinkles that set it apart from other experiences in the genre. There are 3 classes you can choose in the beginning: Warrior, Monk and Rogue, which determine your starting armour and attributes. In addition to this, you have 3 sets of spells to choose from. All start with the same prayer spell, which produces a clone to distract enemies and regen health, magic or energy depending on your class. That leaves 3 other spells to level up along the way, which to me is a little stingy, especially as the other branches are locked off until you complete the game. The Gauntlet adds a bit more magic variety though, with a projectile, explosive and blast effects available to level up and enhance through crafting. This helps to compensate for the lack of spells each class has and enables you to mix up combat with a powerful range attack. The experience system is pretty neat and adds an excellent risk-reward system. Experience can be used to level up attributes or spells at special save points. If you die, you'll have to reclaim your ghost to get the lost experience back, and the longer you take, the less you have. Very, very Dark Souls, but instead of saving your experience and using it to level up, you can keep hold of it, and each time you kill an enemy, your multiplier will increase, enabling you to get more experience the longer you play. It's a pretty cool risk-reward system that comes into its own later in the game. Where Lord starts a failing, though, is with its environment and story. Characters are rote and unlikable. I had no desire to find out the real origin of the main character or be interested in his redemption at all. None of the supporting cast were particularly interesting either. Animations in the cutscenes are a little embarrassing, to be honest, alongside some really over-serious voice acting. Some of it even delves into the so bad it's good territory, but otherwise it's totally forgettable. Environments, they're typical of a medieval setting, with stone monasteries, dark rooms full of blood and bodies, graveyards and watchtowers all place it firmly in typical staid territory. The enemies too look like the Daedra had a one-night stand with the demons out of Darksiders, so they seem pretty rote again alongside their surroundings, but there's a decent amount of variety here, and each flavour of evil that you encounter comes with its own moveset and habits, something you're going to need to learn and predict in order to progress. Boss battles are where it's at, of course, and they are big and imposing as you'd expect, and they are usually always in an arena setting. As such, their attacks are big and they are telegraphed well in advance. That doesn't make them very easy to kill though, and you'll need to die a few times in order to unlock the best method to best them. The main game? Well, that'll take about up to 30 hours to complete first time. There's side quests and challenge portal areas to mess around with that can gain you experience and loot, plus there are 2 New Game Plus modes that unlock each spell chain blocked off in the normal play. These modes add harder enemies that drop more experience. So there's a decent amount of replayability here if you like the game as a whole. If you've come to this and not played the Souls series, then dive right in and you probably get some good value out of it. And if you love your hardcore action RPGs and just need something to pass your time before the next big one comes out, then Lords of the Fallen may well fill that hole for now. But for me, it fell short of the standards set by other games. It's not going to contend with the Souls series, and if you are hoping that it will, then I think you're going to be disappointed. That's not to say that Lords of the Fallen is bad, it's not. It has some great new systems in place to freshen up the formula a little, and I can see other games taking some of the elements of Lords of the Fallen and putting it into future games. But there is this nagging feeling that this is Souls' lesser brother that will be superseded as soon as From Software release their next game. For me, this score was 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and keep it here at Game Watcher for all the latest news, reviews and previews of upcoming PC games.